What's up, guys? Chico Wise. Hey, look, this is a VR for gunnwild1, and he's having some new questions, and it's totally understandable. We all have done that, and sometimes I still ask questions. So I think I'm gonna try to go in order, like he said. I think the first problem he was saying, primer depth, primer seat depth. So he's talking about when he's priming his cases. His primers are, he's using federal primers, and his primers are sticking up above the case head. So if I get in the background of that white or the back of my hand, you see those primers should be below the case head. You can feel it with your finger or your fingernail. If you go over it, you'll feel it drop down a little bit. It should drop down. I haven't used, and this is one that I primed, but I've got some factory stuff that I've pulled. They're the same way. This is a Remington 9mm gel, and it drops down just a little bit. Most priming tools will have a an adjustment on it so that you can set the depth of your primer. Eventually, you're just gonna be able to feel it, or you'll be able to look at it. But just to reconfirm that, right here, this is a great manual, right? I know you're asking about manuals. This is a great manual, but I want to tell you right here. Generally, primer should be seated 3,000 to 5,000 below flush of the case head. A nominal of 4,000 below flush. So this manual right here, the Lyman 50th edition, I'm sure the 49th and all its predecessors has great information too. Another thing, I have a lot of load manuals. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and basically I got 3 real load manuals, and the other one is a cast bullet load manual. But you're absolutely correct on about that load data for a lot of cast bullets, it's kind of hard to find. It is out there. I'll tell you, a lot of people hate this book, but I got it because I need it, because this is the people who make a lot of modes. This is a Richard Lee book. This is the 2nd edition. A lot of people don't like it. They'll tell you to throw it away, but I always use my load manuals to reference. There are some discrepancies between load manuals. I've got a Hornady. I've got that, I think that's the 10th edition. The Hornady. Yeah, the 10th edition. This Hornady is only going to have Hornady bullets. So recently I've got Hornady bullets. Anytime you're loading manufacturer-specific bullets, as far as, plated or jacketed, no problem finding that load data. Just have, as you have found out, especially with the, with the bullets I sent you and other guys have sent you, the cast load data is the issue we have with determining our charges and stuff. I'm gonna show you something else. This is a good one to have. These are fair. You can get these from like the Cabela's or something like that. You can order them online. These have, let me see, the table contents: Hornady bullets, Nosler bullets, Sierra bullets, Spear bullets, Lyman's bullets, RCBS, and then it's got the manufacturer's powder. So this is like a collection of a lot of manufacturers and suppliers information, and they put it in here, and they're specific to the caliber. So this is a good one to have, man. Good stuff. And then the other one I always reference is this right here, because that's what I do. I cast my own projectiles, but I want to help you out with yours. So the bullets that I sent you those, and I sent you 147 grain. So basically these are the 2 that I sent you. Don't worry about the color. They were not this color, but I sent you a round nose, and that's a truncated cone. Here's the crazy thing: these bullets are both 124 grain 9mm. They are to be loaded different at different lengths, so that can affect your charge weight, your powder charge. So but this one right here I've grown fond of, but when I first started loading it, I had problems with it locking up my gun, because me as a new reloader, I was seating it to the depth that I was seating these to. Based on the profile of the bullet, like the round nose, this truncated cone would lock up the gun because I didn't have it seated far enough. I think I have these seated to, for my particular 9mm, they're seated small, like I think 1035 or 1065, so 1 inch and 35 thousandths. And the round nose 124 grain, I think those are seated around, let's see, 1150, so 1 inch 150 thousandths. Like I said, with that, your powder charge would change. And same thing with this right here. These are the bullets one of the guys sent me, Cranky, and it is a truncated cone. Same thing. Different style. I mean, same bullet, same style bullet, different manufacturer. This one is an Arsenal. This one is a Lee. They're basically the same length. So the charges are basically identical. When I found out the charge for this, I loaded up like 5 of these, this same length and powder charge with tight group. Shot perfect, shot fine for me. So whenever you find that particular load and you like it, you do something like this. You get your, you know, your cases or your beat, and I write 9mm. This is my charge for this truncated cone. Remember I told you it's going to be a lot smaller, the charge, because the seating depth is going to be smaller. 3.0 to 3.1 tight group is 124 to 125 grain bullet, and it's an Arsenal size to 356. And I know you're probably thinking, hey, you don't have the case overall length. Actually, I do. I just got it on a few other boxes. Like I said, when I found my pet load, I had probably 10 of these boxes loaded up with the exact same thing. And I've got my, so it's 1063 to 1069. And some of my, see, I put 1068 on that one. So it's just going to be like, you know, trial and error. But whenever you find it, you know, and I would always say don't load up more than 5 testing out, doing your load development, because if it don't work, you're going to have to pull the bullets, and that's not a fun job. So let's go to this one. These, like I said, around those, this is the Acme bullet, and I see you got Acme. The only difference is I use 124 grain, and those look, the ones you had seem to be 115 grain, which is fine. The powder charge is going to be a lot different. Not a lot, but it may vary a little bit. For my, when I can't find the data even in the book, let me tell you what I do, and what a lot of guys do, and some people may disagree with me, and some may add something in the comments to what I'm about to say. So I try to reference a whole bunch of manuals, online information, reputable stuff, not like a forum or nothing like that. But the Hydrogen website, I'm gonna pull it up and show you. They have your bullet, which you showed in your video. So you just go to right there, Hydrogen reloading, go right there, and you select, you know, pistol, rifle, shotgun. Next, it'll ask you about your cartridge. So 9mm Luger. I put in my weight because I wanted to see what the difference was. But I referenced this and the hard copy manuals I have. Then you can put in your powder, and if you click on the powder, it comes up with you know, hydrogen, and then the manufacturer. Then it comes up with all your powders. So I use tight group. You're using tight group, and after that, you just update data, and it's got 2 results, 2 loads. 115 grain, that's a spear, I believe, gold dot, hollow point, and then 115 grain lead round nose. That is a lead round nose. So if it was me, I would use that data, and with that case overall length. But I'll tell you another thing that's always helpful, and we always want to be safe with this, right? So I always reduce my load, my starting load, which would on this one would be 3.9 grains to starting load. I always reduce it, especially if I'm not sure. I reduce it by 10%. So 3.9, reduce it by 10%. It's like 4/10 of a grain. So I'd bring that down to 3.5. I would start there. I do five rounds, 3.5. I'd go up 2/10 of a grain, 5 rounds of 3.7. And I would do 5 rounds of 3.9. See which one of those group better for me and my particular weapon. And that's how we do that. And I'll tell you, so for these 2 bullets, the Lee and the Acme 124 grain, both of them, I use the exact same charge. The exact same charge, the exact same case overall length. That is my go-to load when I'm plinking. And that just works for me. 9mm 124 Acme tight group, and I got my my charge and my case overall length on there. And you can see I got the purple ones and the red ones, exact same. So whenever you find that load, brother, and it's gonna it may take a while, you know, but we're not in a rush, you know. Like I said, more than anything, I know you want to be safe, because as reloaders, I heard in your video, we're gonna have them butterflies. We will have those butterflies when we pull the trigger on the first time you shooting your reloaded ammo. That's a definite. Another thing to keep in mind about those truncated cone and the round nose, really any style bullet. So if you wanted to try out a different bullet, you got to always keep in mind, anytime you try out a different bullet or a different powder, you're going to have to change your load. You're going to have to redevelop your load. So, for instance, this right here, I can look at this one and tell that this is 147 grain because of its length. And it's 674 thousandths versus 592. And then I got some other ones here that is probably 115 or 124 grain. 562. 570. So that's just range scrap that I got from the range. But yeah, whenever you get into heavier bullets, that load will change. I know I sent you like 10 of those, not these, but 147 grain. But the ones that I sent you were they were a flat point. So you're gonna have to like really redevelop your load for that. What else was I gonna say? Another thing. If you want to be definite, no, hold wait before I say that. Some of us, and I have been told, and I have done it, if you can't find that load between online references and hard copies, manuals, whatever and how many manuals you have, if you can't find that information, we have either used people gonna then a lot of people gonna disagree with me. You can use plated load data or jacketed load data, but you want to reduce it at least by 10%. So going back to that, if I had dang, I closed the book, but I've got markers in my book that will tell me. And like I said, people hate this book, but I use it for a reference more than anything. So let me get back to 9mm. This video is long, but I think it's gonna be helpful. See, the good thing I like about this book, it's got a lot of different style bullets. So you got 100 grain frangible, and 115 grain jacket, and 115 grain lead, which is what us casters do. And it goes all the way down to 90 grain XTP, which is a Hornady bullet. Actually goes all the way down to 80 grains for 9mm. And it goes all the way up to 115 grain lead again, 115 grain copper plated XTP, 15 Barnes X solid, and then you got 120, 124 grain jacketed lead, and so on and so forth. And it goes all the way up to 150 grain. But with this, say if you couldn't find any kind of data nowhere, you could always use either the plated data, which is somewhere between soft lead and jacketed. See, a lot of people, they ain't gonna agree with me again. Whenever we powder coat, we are basically putting a jacket, a lubrication, so to speak, on our projectiles. It's not gonna be as hard as a plated, but it's not gonna be as unprotected and soft as just raw lead bullet. Like this. This bullet is not coated. It's a lot softer than either one of these. This is a high-tech coating. This is powder coat. This is powder coat. This bullet here is softer than these. And these two came from the same pot. I just chose not to powder coat one to have an example or something like that. But if you're going to use that other data, like plated or jacketed, reduce it at least by 10% and start off at the very minimum. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to say is, if you want a guaranteed way to find out information for, if you're doing cast bullets, or if you're not finding your load data, it is a program called Quick Load. I'm not familiar. I'm familiar with it, but I don't own it. A couple of the other guys own it, and they've looked up stuff for me. But it is a nice program, and it will tell you exactly what you want to know. You can put in the type of bullet you have, what you're seeing it to, your case volume, your powder you're using. Great program, and it works awesome. So that is a definite way, man. I'm sorry I went over on this video, but I couldn't get it all out without explaining. And Jeff, you know, I'm not like a professional, but I do take my safety. I put a high priority on that, because, you know, at the end of the day, I want to be safe at the end of the day. So I hope that helps a little bit, brother. Hit me up anytime you need. You can either, you can find me on here, or you can find me on Slack. My email is in my about section if you want to email me, or I think I sent you my number. So even if you want to text or call, whatever, brother, hit me up. I hope that helps. Hope it helps anyone else. And like I said, pay attention to the comments. It's probably gonna be someone, a few folks chiming in on what they do to remedy the same issues that we have as casters or reloaders. Sometimes with that data is not readily available. So I appreciate it for watching, brother. I hope it helps you. I'm trying to think, did you say anything else? Oh, on the scales. And I left you a comment. But on the scales, yeah, you always want, people ain't gonna like the scale. People hate the scale. But so really on any measurement devices, any kind of, even if it's like a jewelry type scale, when you have, did you see it? Let me cut. The G is always gonna be grams. We as reloaders use grains, so GN. I don't think you'll be able to put, let's say the charge is 4. You ain't gonna be able to put 4 grams of powder in a 9mm case, but you know that's understood how I did the same thing, man, and I'm sure other people have too. Some people just not big enough to admit it, but you know, I was confused and a little way more cautious, and I'm still cautious. But when I first got into reloading, because it was confusing, but man, it is awesome to build or put together some ammo and then shoot it and it works right and it shoots good. That's an awesome feeling. And at the end of the day, you know, you have no malfunctions, and we produce that ammo that works better than factory. So another thing, I did check all my factory ammo. I know you said Federal. I got American Eagle. I do. Back in the day, I used to buy factory ammo, so I still have some. And when I take my baby sister shooting, I don't let her shoot my reloads unless she, I mean, I trust them, but still, I let her shoot the factory ammo. And these Federals, they're primer, same thing. You don't see it sticking up on mine. It may look like it, but it's not. Like I said, you probably could use a card. Would probably work even better. Sheet of paper or like a business card. But it's not sticking up. It's just below the surface of that of the case head. So just below. So I hope that helps, Jeff, man. Sorry it took so long, and sorry this video turned into 22 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, man. Hit me up if you need anything, Jeff.